Hello, my name is Anna Cook, and this is my case study for Truman Elementary School, Mod 15 for AEP 858. First, looking at the school and the statistics, it is a pre-K through 8 grade level school. The enrollment is just over 700 students. Every grade level has 3 classes. The principal is hired from the same district, but a different building within the district. And out of 4 elementary schools in the district, it is by far the biggest. In the demographics, it's a suburb in the Midwest. 15% of the student population relies on free and reduced lunch, and 5% of the student population have a primary language other than English. Looking at the performance statistics from the case study, there are increasing gaps between the score and the grade level as the student progresses. The reading program needs specific help. There are very low scores on the standardized tests, and so that is where some attention needs to be. There are needs for improvement. The teachers do not have differentiation of instruction based on the student needs. And there's a negative parent opinion on the reading program. And there are grants available for schools in situations like this. So financial assistance is available for reading specific programs. When taking this into consideration, what do we need to know? How long have the negative trends been present in reading? When did they start? I would also want to know what else lined up on that timeline. Did it line up with administrative turnover, major staff turnover? Is there something that happened in the district level or community that might be affecting the decline in specifically reading? Are there district level turnover or changes? Were there budget cuts that maybe affected staff training or access to knowing what the standards are? Attempts. What are the attempted changes made by the school and district to improve the issues? And what are the attitudes of our community and our demographic? How do teachers, students, and community members feel about this trajectory and the issues that are being had? Are there other schools in this district having this issue? I think is really key to gaining more insight. Identifying the problem. Concisely, students need improvement in reading scores. The community perception is that the reading program needs significant improvement and they are not satisfied. Teachers need to improve their strategies and stay current with appropriate and progressive practices and approaches. So differentiating instruction should be just a basic in their bag of tricks. My proposed plan of action, I would get my administrative staff at the building level on the same page and speak with them and have a meeting. I would then meet with other administrative staff from other buildings to see, I guess that also depends if they are having the same issues or if they have been successful, and have a really productive dialogue to come up with possible strategies and professional development opportunities. Maybe there are things that we could collaborate on. I would have a required staff meeting to go over the reading scores, the data, and the analysis. I think it'd be a really big moment. Expose the scores and don't be afraid if they squirm. It has to be a learning moment. It has to be, how can we improve? This is the stark reality. This is a situation we have not curbed from the start of the trend. So how do we get on the same page? Have some accountability for the teachers and say you have support. So how and why did the issues get so severe in the first place, and try and move forward. I would offer more PLC opportunities for teachers to collaborate across the district and at a building level. And I would also check in and attend these professional development and PLC opportunities with the teachers to show I am supporting And I also am holding them accountable. I think having an administrator present always changes the dynamic. Maybe not even like in a negative or intimidating way, but in a just more serious, this is real. I would assemble a team with myself or a building administrator to write a grant to apply for progressive and current reading programs. At the state level, the grants that were available, we would take advantage of that. Creating reading initiatives at the building level with students. Reading this case study was a little, I had to read it a couple times. I grew up reading, loving reading, and as a building-wide initiative, district-wide initiative, we had book it programs, we had family reading nights, we had drop everything and read, we had deer time, which is what we called it, once if not twice a day. So it definitely instilled in me a love of reading, and I would definitely try and put that back in because we loved reading so much. So creating a personal connection for these students and families is really important. And then it provides opportunity for them to be successful. A book it program, a student gets a little reward. Summer reading programs, you got recognition if you participated in those. So creating opportunities for students to be successful outside of the classroom and then inside the classroom. Creating a connection of accountability at home, incentives for improvement, and minutes put into reading. Kind of summarizes what I was thinking. Resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students. I would assemble all available resources for students and staff. I would have an online, library catalog and a physical copy for each classroom so that they know what is available to them. Creating new opportunities for students to be successful. Teachers will have time to collaborate as building and district to talk about individual student needs. There's no doubt that these teachers knew what was going on, but they probably, there could be resentment that they are not given building time to talk and collaborate to make the changes. So it's easy to then get defensive and deflective and say that's not on them. So giving them the time and investing my personal time as an administrator in that as well. And applying for grants that will give students progressive and relevant reading strategies. The data from the case study, really what struck me was the reading test scores were lower than the math test scores. And my way to address that would be revise the schedule to improve instruction and reading time for students. I think implementing some cross-curricular instruction so that they get to implement the reading strategies in other curriculum subjects will then enhance them being able to apply reading in different contexts. So I would definitely push that. Reading test scores have declined in the last 3 years based off the median percentile. Again, I would assemble a building team of teachers with some administrative guidance to create short-term and long-term goals that generate feedback for students and can give individual instruction. So based on student needs, how can we best serve our students? Debrief the problem. Thinking. My thoughts. There needs to be a refocus on the school and building goals, organization, and accountability. You can hold teachers accountable without dwelling on it. I think in a very clear and concise staff meeting, we can expose the problem, hold them accountable, and then say, we support you, and we have to support everyone at the building level. So everyone in the building needs to support and buy into the success of the reading program because every grade level needed improvement. I would appreciate the data on individuals and then the trends shown in their growth. I would like to see, just instead of focusing grade level to grade level, throughout my coursework for this class, I got some insight into how my administrators really track individual students, which is just incredible to me. We have over 1,400 students at our school, and they have zeroed in on kids that need that individual attention and the trends in individual growth. So definitely that has inspired me to focus on that specifically because I know what it means to students. Why would teachers let it get this bad? Why wouldn't they take time to counsel within their departments? It might be a dated mindset. It might be a schedule. It might be they're floundering. It depends on the turnover. It depends on if they're tenured and checked out. It depends on a lot of things. So definitely a range of thought process. Feeling. Well, reading this, I don't see how you couldn't be frustrated. How did the teachers get complacent? What did the previous administration do when these trends started surfacing? And that also goes back to me getting more information, but it's definitely frustrating that we have let the situation get this bad. I would then channel that frustration into motivation, not afraid of a challenge, and I would accept the challenge and attack it head on with a unified staff attitude. Again, everyone being on the same page with the same goals is vital to being successful. I also would feel a sense of obligation. We owe it to the students to do better and make reading less of a challenge and more rewarding. Reading is relevant to their life. They're gonna, people do it for fun. It's something that we should create for these students. And somewhere along the line, we have failed them to have low reading scores. The unresolved issues that I have drawn, staff turnover. I wonder if there's a lack of resources showing teachers and keeping them current on the standards that need to be met. How is the staff attitude at the building level? That is key. Are they receptive to change and improvements? Are they going to take it personally, or do they get defensive, or will they rally and all, have a new attitude going into this? Does the district show support, and can they help provide with resources at the building level? Are there resources given to other buildings? Things like that. Will the community support the changes and initiatives? I think keeping an open line of communication with the community and saying, kind of owning it, like we have areas to improve, but it will take everyone, and getting honest feedback, because there's nothing, I've been in a really small community that sounds very similar to this. And if a community doesn't support something, it really will start to crumble the infrastructure of the school vision. So getting community support and rallying and making sure that they feel heard, I think is really key. And financial. Are there conditions to the grant that I am not aware of? Grant eligibility depends on building conditions. If you meet at a building level, does the district meet it? Things like this. So definitely I would want to be part of the grant process to make sure that we are following those guidelines. My reflection, specifically about Standard 8. As head administrator, I have a clear and focused school improvement vision with achievable steps for teachers and students for success. All administrators will share the same focused vision, create initiatives and plans of success for students that involve community and family support, improve addressing of individual needs and progressive and current trends in educational approaches, follow guidelines for financial assistance. So I've kind of been reflecting as I've been doing this, but that's just kind of focused. Getting everyone on the same page. There is accountability, there's room for improvement, owning it, and then moving forward and being involved in the process. I can't be all talk and give them a 10-step plan to success and then not show up myself and be that face. So being that positive attitude and yes we can, and rallying as a building. Having conversations with district resources and creating opportunities for the resource to be integrated into building practices, key. Creating forums for positive representation of our school. It allows the community to give that honest feedback and buy-in, if you will. Show investment in community and our PTO. We are committed to our improvements and we're not looking back. We're only moving forward.